Welcome to Commerce with Karanta Lane, your complete academy for business, accounting, and economics.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're putting on our trench coats and grabbing our magnifying glasses because we are looking at business through the lens of a corporate detective. Every single day, businesses make massive, high-stakes decisions. Launching a new product, entering a new market, changing a price point. These aren't just random guesses. Or, well, at least they shouldn't be. To uncover how the absolute most successful businesses make their biggest decisions, we really have to look at their core investigation process, which is market research.
It's a staggering reality in the business world, isn't it? Countless new products hit the shelves and just completely flatline. But why do they fail? Usually, it's simply because a company spent millions of dollars building something nobody actually wanted. They lack the ultimate hero of our story, market research. By systematically gathering data directly from consumers, market research acts as the ultimate safeguard. It literally prevents catastrophic business failures and guides companies toward what people actually desire.
Okay, here is our detective's roadmap for today. First, why do market research? Second, primary versus secondary research. Third, numbers or feelings. Fourth, social media market research. And finally, is your data reliable? Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Why do market research? The motive behind the data.
Fundamentally, this whole thing is about systematically gathering data from consumers so you can understand rapid changes in the market. A business does research to identify customer needs, often trying to secure a first-mover advantage before anyone else catches on. They're looking for gaps in the market where people might even pay a premium price. They aim to reduce the risk of launching a complete dud, and of course they constantly investigate competitors to figure out how to make their own products stand out from the pack.
Let's actually ground this theory in reality for a second. Imagine you are the CEO of a company. We'll call it Denims Limited. You're developing a brand new product. Now, if you just guess what your target market wants, you are completely flying blind. But by carrying out dedicated market research to find out the specific, exact needs of your audience, you drastically improve the chances that your new product launch actually succeeds. It's going to limit your marketing mistakes and really sharpen your budget decision.
Moving on to the investigation phase. Section 2. Primary versus secondary research, or, as a detective might call it, fieldwork versus desk work.
So there is a super clear distinction we need to make here. Primary research is all about gathering brand new information directly from consumers in your target market. It's highly original data that simply doesn't exist anywhere else yet. Secondary research, on the other hand, is the compilation and analysis of data that already exists out in the world. It's desk work. Someone else has already done the heavy lifting of collecting the info, and you are just reviewing it for your own specific needs.
So what does primary fieldwork actually look like in practice? Well, it takes a bunch of different shapes. You've got mass surveys via tools like SurveyMonkey to spot broad trends. You've got on-the-ground observation, literally standing there and watching how packaging impacts a shopper's choice in a supermarket aisle. Or you might bring 12 people into a room for a 3-hour, highly specialized focus group to get really detailed feedback on a physical prototype.
Now, the trade-off here is honestly fascinating. Primary research is your absolute secret weapon. It is highly focused on exactly what your business needs to know, and crucially, it is completely hidden from rival companies. No one else has this data. But the downside? It can be incredibly expensive and time-consuming to hire specialist agencies to do this. Plus, there is a very real risk of researcher bias, where an interviewer might accidentally, or even intentionally, guide a respondent to answer in a certain way.
But wait, what if a business just doesn't have the budget for a massive, expensive focus group? Well, if they can't afford the fieldwork, a vast array of existing evidence is just waiting to be tapped into. These secondary sources are literally everywhere, from government publications and industry associations to media sources and detailed financial reports. To really bring these sources to life, consider the heavyweights of the information world. A business can look at academic insights from global research centers like Stanford University. They can purchase specialist, in-depth market reports from companies like Mintel. They can access massive online commerce databases like Statista or Euromonitor. Or honestly, they can simply turn to media sources like the Financial Times or the Wall Street Journal to track fast-moving industry developments and shifting consumer behavior.
Just like primary research, this kind of desk work has its own pros and cons. The clear, obvious advantage is that secondary data is often incredibly fast to access, and sometimes it's completely free. That makes it absolutely perfect for a small business without a massive marketing budget. The danger, though? This data was originally collected for someone else's purpose. It might lack relevance to your specific business problem, it could be totally out of date in a fast-moving market, or worse, if you're just looking on the open internet, it might be completely fake.
Time to translate all that data into actionable insights. Section 3. Numbers or feelings? Types of data. The absolutely crucial point here is understanding the duality of your data. Quantitative data is all about the hard numbers. We're talking financial reports, sales figures, market share percentages, or a 1 to 10 customer service rating. Qualitative data, conversely, is all about feelings, discussions, and emotional impressions. It's the rich, descriptive explanations you get from a focus group. A smart business knows they absolutely need the numerical hard facts of quantitative data for sure, but they equally need the emotional why provided by qualitative data. But you really have to be aware of the blind spots here. Numbers alone, they won't tell you why an outcome happened. They might show that sales volumes are plummeting, but they won't tell you the reason for the decline. On the flip side, qualitative data has its own tricky traps. A focus group can so easily be hijacked by one really loud participant, or respondents might just lack the self-awareness to explain their own preferences accurately. Plus, let's be real, qualitative data is notoriously difficult to present neatly in a graph.
Section 4. Social media market research. Modern investigation tools.
You know, platforms like TikTok and Instagram, they aren't just for viral dances anymore. They are an absolute goldmine for corporate detectives. The benefits here are massive. You have nearly instantaneous speed, meaning you can get thousands of poll responses over a lunch break for virtually zero cost. It allows for a genuinely interactive relationship that builds brand loyalty. And crucially, it provides incredibly fast product feedback. This can actually generate innovative ideas for extending a product's life cycle way before sales even start to decline.
Which brings us to the final step of our investigation. Section 5. Is your data reliable? Avoiding false leads.
Okay, here is the harsh reality. Bad data is actually worse than no data at all. Why? Because it gives you the false confidence to go ahead and make a terrible decision. Reliability and accuracy depend heavily on a few super fragile factors. Exactly how questions are phrased, how carefully the sample is selected, who conducts the research, when and where it is conducted, and of course the ever-present potential for human bias.
Let's break these pitfalls down a bit. Something as simple as a leading question, like asking, "Don't you just love our new flavor?" can completely ruin a survey. If your sample size is too small or it doesn't accurately reflect your actual target market, your results are basically useless. If the researcher wants to present results in a particularly positive light, that bias skews the entire decision-making process. And remember, customer tastes and economic conditions change incredibly fast. Data gathered in a different geographic area or even just a year ago might have a very short period of usefulness today.
Which brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought. The next time you see a massive company launch a product that spectacularly fails or wonderfully succeeds, you'll know it usually comes down to the quality of their corporate detective work. So I want to leave you with this to reflect on regarding the massive, hidden impact of bias in decision-making. When gathering evidence, are you actually asking the right questions to find the truth? Or are you just asking the ones you want answered? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching Commerce with Lane. Don't forget to subscribe for more lessons in business, accounting, and economics. Keep learning smart and score that a star. I'll see you in the next video.